discussions of the resolutions? Debbie, can you read resolution number 2025-08-2101? Deborah will be sitting in as secretary today.
Resolution 25-2025. Resolution 2025-08-21-01, approving room rental fees.
Tom?
Good morning, everyone. Once again, the resolution before the board is approving the room rental fees. You'll see outlined in the resolution various fees associated with Buckingham Hall, Dorchester Hall, and the picnic area. The board is recommending increasing these room rental fees for Buckingham Hall, room 1 to 65 people, from $275 to $300. The auditorium, 250 people, from $350 to $400. Dorchester Hall, room 1 to 65 people, from $75 to $280. And the auditorium, 350 people, $450 to $550. The deposit for the room has no change.
Deborah, resolution number 2025-08-2102.
Resolution number 2025-08-21-02, approving fitness room fee.
And once again, the resolution before the board is approving the increase in fitness room fees. Current fee is $72 annually. The board is recommending increasing that fee to $80.
Resolution number 2025-08-2103, that resolution will be tabled. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please. Present.
President. Judy Van Mapes. Present. Sue Farrell. Sandy Alcamano.
Here.
Marty Warren.
Here.
I'd like to approve the approval of the minutes of open meeting July 17, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Everybody in favor? Aye. Secretary's report.
Resolution number 2025-08-2101, approving room rental fee.
Yes.
Debbie Forte, yes. Judy Ann Mapes? Yes. Sandy Alcamano?
Yes.
Marty Berman.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-08-2102, resolution approving fitness room fee. Tom Marchochi?
Yes.
Debbie Forte, yes. Judy Ann Mapes? Yes. Sandy Alcamano?
Yes.
Marty Berman.
No.
Both resolutions pass. The resolution was tabled. Treasurer's report.
Good morning, everyone. As of this morning, in our Ameriprise Reserve accounts, we have $4,198,498.87. We transferred into that account this month $328,956.27. And we have written checks for a total of $446,270.46, and they were to Reno Paving and Roof Masters. As far as delinquencies as of this morning, Up to 30 days is 219, 31 to 60 is 85, 81 plus is 196. And of those 196, there are 57 in collections with our attorney. Thank you.
Any questions for Judy?
What does that mean when it says that we
Your HOA is due on the 1st?
Oh, that's what I was.
Yes, if it's not, right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Attorney's report.
Good morning, everybody. Keep it brief for this meeting. In July, our firm collected $31,045.81. Again, we're working with management's office, who's been great, to try to collect on delinquent accounts. The board will be looking to adopt the restated bylaws, as I've previously discussed, in the next coming couple of meetings. Again, the restated bylaws are merely meant to combine all of the previous amendments that have already been approved by the membership, as well as to come to compliance with the relevant laws in the state of New Jersey that have been in effect the past, say, 5 years through the regulations as well by the DCA. So that will be coming pretty shortly. That's all I have.
Village manager report.
Once again, good morning. Very briefly, Quality First has completed all the areas assigned to them and related to this year's concrete program that's addressing any issues with sidewalks and curbs that were marked out for this year. Road improvements, Reno Paving is still working in the area of Cambridge. Many of those carport areas have proven to be more challenging and time-consuming than they originally anticipated. So there's been a number of delays in that respect. There was some issues reported about ponding in some of the stalls and carports. That we took photos, we sent that over to the engineer. The engineer will be addressing that with the contractor. Of course, the past couple of days, the weather has also added some additional delays. So we're working on a new schedule. Most likely Cambridge will be finished up next week, and then they'll be moving on to Edinburgh. Future road replacement, the board had reviewed a number of areas in the community that were still outstanding. As of right now, the board is looking to add to the 2026 road improvement program Sheffield Court, Chatham Court, North and South, as well as the 405 through 410 area, all areas off of Portsmouth Drive. Road repairs, SO Paving has been in past week or so doing pothole repairs throughout the community. They've just finished up. We're going to go around with the contractor, take a look at the areas, make sure that the measurements are correct for the square footage, as well as the patchwork and the quality of the work. The soft wash program is still moving along. Rainbow is still sticking to their original schedule. There was some overlap with Reno Paving in the Cambridge area, which forced them to then move into Edinburgh. Once the pavers are out of Cambridge, Rainbow will be moving back into the Cambridge area to finish that up. Lawn fertilization was scheduled for this week. I know Wes went out to speak with the contractor. He had some concerns about the winds for today. Rain is supposed to subside, so it shouldn't interfere with the actual application, but we'll have to check with the wind conditions to see if that's a continued issue. JCP&L Contractors High Bolt is still flowing the feed lines from Dorchester overflow lot all the way down to Buckingham. They've been working on that for the past couple of weeks. Once they're complete, JCP&L will come in, start setting the switches and making the connections. And that's going to result in scheduled outages throughout the area, especially off of Dorchester. We don't have a schedule of those outages as of yet, but once we do have them, we'll get them out to the community so we can plan ahead of time. And that'll conclude my report. Thanks.
Any questions for Tom?
Morning. Good morning. Tom McCormick, 477E North Court. Tom, did you you mentioned that you're going around with the guy paving around Portsmouth, or the area that's located there, that they were living there around Portsmouth area?
Well, Mike in the automotive department was working with ESSA. That's what you mean?
No, with the paving, you said you were going to bring the guy with paving just to check out all the different areas.
Oh, yeah, so we will follow up with ESSA and walk the areas that were done.
Right. Is there any way that you could look, while you're going up Portsmouth, look at Dartmoor Court, just to look out to see what needs to be done maybe in the future?
Sure.
It's
Yeah, we did look at that and had consideration for 2026, but, you know, the other areas seem to be in more deterioration than Dartmoor at this point.
I just have to wait. We have to wait up there until they're done, and then hopefully maybe the end of 2026 we get done. Okay. Also, that is man.
Tom has questions. Cambridge, I'm sorry, Janet 39J. Cambridge, not the carports, but between the carports, there's a lot of puddles that didn't happen. I know it's really raining hard, but there doesn't seem to be drainage. I don't know if there is any or there was ever any.
So you're right. I would say only 2 courts in Cambridge actually have storm drains, maybe 3. But most of them were originally designed to pitch outward, although they did not function that way over the years. So the engineers and the contractor are doing their best to mill and pave and try to get the water to run out to Cambridge Drive over the court.
So
That's
maybe
the
about-
best they can do is get it to run out.
Because I noticed there's more, since they did the paving, there's more little lakes in there.
Well,
So maybe you want to
you know,
check it out.
fortunately, we have the engineer coming out, we
Okay.
did send some photos, we'll take a look. Yeah, I think the standard is 24 hours, if it's still remaining after 24 hours, it has to be addressed.
Okay, I'll let you know. Thank you.
Supervisor 6760D. Tom, One Connection is here, they were unloading their equipment as I was driving up here. They should be booted off the property today. So One Connection is here, and they're unloading their equipment. And they're going to spray today near lakes with runoff and wind. They should be booted off the property today. It's unconscionable that any reputable lawn care company would consider doing any applications today. And Wes is talking to the guy. It is very disturbing that they would be allowed on the property to spray today. That's terrible. And I have a question, quick, just real quick. You voted on resolutions this morning. We just got the resolutions a couple days ago. We don't get to speak to the resolutions before you vote?
When we voted before.
Huh? Like, I hope to talk to one of the resolutions before you voted. And you voted, right?
Before the meeting, we read the resolutions and asked if there were any comments. You didn't. I'm sorry, that's the usual procedure.
Hey.
Yeah, we usually read them and answer comments. That's why they're read beforehand.
Can you rescind the votes and do it again?
The votes are the votes.
Which one do you have an issue with? What's the question?
Well, it's not a question, it's a comment that I hope to make before you voted on the resolution regarding the gym increase. Leisure Village is atypical in having a gym fee at all. It's an amenity. It's bizarre that at some arbitrary point, somebody decided, just this one amenity, we're gonna charge a side fee for. And then to increase the fee is adding insult to injury. Like, what arbitrary, why not pickleball? Why not a heated pool till mid-October. I wouldn't want fees for additional fees, it's just atypical, why do it at all? I would like to see a resolution saying eliminate the gym fee, it's arbitrary and weird. That's all, thanks.
Okay, we do have to pay a person to fix the equipment.
And he's cool.
Every month, the guy comes in, fixes the equipment. If the equipment does break down, we did get all new equipment in there. We got new mats in there. This costs money.
So does heating the pool, so does the bocce court, so does the shuffleboard court, so does landscaping in place. It's arbitrary, it's weird, it's atypical, other HOAs don't do it.
Well, you want us to start charging people to go into the pool?
No, I want you to stop the gym. I want you to not charge an additional weird, arbitrary fee for any of the amenities. It's built into the HOA like everywhere else. That's what I want.
Just a matter of clarification. The association did not originally have a fitness room as an amenity. A number of years back, when the board brought up the idea of creating a fitness room and the costs involved, that's when they set up the structure for the fee. So it wasn't part of the original amenities, it wasn't listed in the bylaws. That's how the fee structure came to pay for the fitness equipment as well as the maintenance.
It's weird. It's weird, unusual, it's atypical, and shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be.
Hi, Pete Bezowitz, 32A Cambridge Court. Mr. Claus, a couple weeks ago you had indicated that the video company that was going to be doing the work at the Lake Tudor, we were waiting for them to get back to us with a date that they were going to start the work. Can we get a status on that, please?
So we have the one repair estimate that the board now has. Additionally, the board has approved Vortex to do the camera service on that pipe. I'm waiting for an actual date. I'm hoping next week they'll be in for the camera service. The engineer is checking with the contractor that gave the proposal for the repairs on the lead time. So I don't have a solid date at this time.
Okay, so we can address this again at the next meeting?
I'm hopeful that we're able to get the contractors in before the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Max Love, 330B. I have a couple of questions about the dam.
We can't hear him.
Okay, is that better? Okay. Max Love, 330B. I have a couple of questions on the dam condition at Lake Tudor. There's obviously some issues with the dam, and I've read through the report from the engineer's survey, and there's some things in that report that are lacking. It talks about issues with replacing or dealing with the joints between the precast sections. There's a picture of water leaking in one of the pipes, one of the exit pipes, but there's no discussion in that report about what the implications of that are. And one of the primary implications of that is that structure is being undercut by water rolling underneath that dam. But there's nothing in that talks about that condition. It doesn't talk about swallowing of the concrete structure. It doesn't talk about cracks in the structure. It talks about, says there's no sediment in the pond. In 60 years, there's sediment in the pond. And if you look at the outfall of Dorchester, there's an island there, which is obviously sediment. There's a requirement in that report for an O&M plan that describes what that study is. It's supposed to be done by September 30th. I generally read the monthly newsletter. I didn't see anything in the newsletter about hiring this engineer, what his scope of work was, what his fees are. There are a lot of issues with that report. I do this kind of thing for a living, and I consider that report to be deficient in a lot of ways. So is there a plan for doing further evaluation, understanding what the real implications are, what's going on around that? And then there's the whole questions about, this was done 4 years ago. That spillway was put in. From my perspective, having a spillway, having that kind of structure, and these kind of problems within 4 years, this needs to go back to the installing contract. Were there construction bonds, were there performance bonds, were there, how is this project structured? There could be a significant cost to the village to fix this. While I am a licensed professional engineer, which is simple as not my forte, but just looking at this, there are some serious issues there that this report does not address.
So the board did invite the community to attend a meeting with that engineer. He was present and gave his report and update on the conditions of what they found out in the field. The repair estimate that we received is in the area of $38,000, and it includes high pressure grout injection into those joints. There are no cracks, like you mentioned. Those are joints. So the whole structure is 4 pieces, and they're bolted together, and they use a mortar or different other bonding agent to seal those joints. And it appears some of that material has deteriorated or let loose, so it's going to require what the engineer is recommending is grouting. The pipes themselves under the ground, there's 3 30-inch pipes that run from that structure. It appears that water is coming through one of those joints in the pipes or barrels. We don't understand why. That's what the video is hopefully going to show us. But unfortunately, during construction, the DEP had requested that we encapsulate all those pipes in concrete. So even excavating those pipes is not going to give you any idea of what's going on because they're now encased in concrete. So the best thing is, once again, going from the inside, either doing high pressure grout injection or sleeving the entire barrel.
My concern would be that water bubbling up through the pipe joints indicates that water is getting under the spillway. So I would ask that you mention that.
Well, there's always been a groundwater issue there. Even when those pipes weren't leaking, if you went to the downstream side, you could see it coming up out of the ground. It's always been an issue in that area. So that's a significant amount of groundwater. The engineer even gave a report during that meeting, the volume of water that came out of there. And it's, if it was just the water coming out of the lake would have already been empty at that point. So he thought it mostly would be groundwater, but there's also speculation as to whether or not there could have been a utility line in the area that was leaking as well.
Unfortunately, I was not able to. I wasn't here when the other report was done. Is there a video of that? Is there?
It's on YouTube.
Sean Boyle, 290C. Tom, Claus, I'm just asking, it's apparent, right, that the problem with the Tudor Lake is trickling down to Avon and other lakes, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, water doesn't run uphill. So water goes from Windermere to Avon, Victoria, to Tudor. A lot of it is still stemming from last year's drought where the lakes never recovered. None of those lakes are spilling into Tudor. Tudor was the main lake to take all that runoff from those other 3 lakes. That's why that dam structure is so large. You have 3 36-inch pipes leading out of there because it was built and intended to take that volume from those other basins. But those basins aren't spilling into Tudor. And they're all very, very low.
And why are they low? Lakes?
Well, we're not getting the annual rainfall that we've experienced in the past. So we have photos from April of 2024 where the water was spilling over Lake Tudor spillway, the weir. After that, May and June, we started experiencing the significant drought all the way through the end of the year. We only really started seeing some return of the annual rainfall amounts probably in January and February, and then you saw some in early spring. But even this summer has been very dry as well. We experienced some rainfall, but those storms are very short in duration. They're not like, it's not raining all day. Even what we're experiencing here, that mist is not accumulating much in these lakes.
But if you look at the history of the amount of rainfall that has come, they said it was to a point where it hadn't rained that much in 50 years. So I wouldn't relate that to a drought, and that if the drought was the problem, wouldn't that have been brought the depletion of the water up already?
No, I don't understand your statement. I mean, pretty much, I think the entire state last year was in classification of severe drought. So, it's going to take a lot to recover from that.
Okay,
I think our engineer is actually trying to compile the rainfall amounts through Rutgers and other organizations to actually put a report together for the board.
Can I ask you how soon it was brought to your attention that there was a problem with the depletion of the water in Lake Tudor?
Well, we've been monitoring those low levels since last year. We've seen it. All the lakes, all 4 lakes up here are experiencing the same conditions. Right now, the lakes down below are okay. We did have about a month of low, inadequate rainfall, and then even Lakewood Hill was about 4 to 5 inches below the weir on that spillway. If you walk the lake bank there, you'd see all that riprap or trout rock. That's usually not exposed. That's usually underwater. But hopefully, with this current rainfall, it's going to bring that back up.
Well, just for the sake, I've lived here 11 years, and I live on the lake of Lake Tudor, and the depletion of Lake Tudor didn't start last year. It started years before that. It started after the remodel of the spillway, and that was brought to the attention of the office and called in. And it doesn't start with last year. When I look at this water on a daily basis, I can see the depletion in the lake. And that is only compounded with every year after it. So it wasn't something that just happened last year, and it is relevant to the remodel that happened in 21.
I can only tell you with the photos that we have in January, February, and April of 2024, we have photos of that spillway, and most of which came from complaints from the residents about the debris collecting on the trash rack. So we went out there and we documented it and sent it to the grounds foreman. So it was documented water was going over that weir for the beginning part of 2024. After which, when we started experiencing a drought, that's when we seen the levels drop. Those photos have also been shared with the engineer for his report to the DEP.
Okay, so you're going to give us an update on the window in which it's going to be, because it says that to the conclusion that it should be addressed immediately, and immediately is pretty concerning.
Our engineer has been in full contact with the DEP. I've been receiving various emails, or included in various email communications back and forth, and they've been providing the various documents that were requested by the DEP.
Okay, and hopefully, like you said, it'll be before the next meeting.
Christine Toller. I live in 141B, and I want to commend Phyllis for her handwriting because she goes very fast. I don't know, you must be very busy. I emailed you this week, and I want to say that I have emailed Ivy Rehab corporate headquarters because there is a problem with our Ivy Rehab on the property. I am involved in exercise for a very long time and dance for a very long time. And we are not going to physical therapy because we want to work out. We are going because we are in pain. And when someone boasts about being a competition ballroom dancer, it doesn't make anybody feel good. And I used to be a go-go dancer, so his body would be much better. I did also speak to Lois in the office. She said that she would give you, Thomas, the message. I know it's not in your control because it is a franchise in the world, but I did fall right outside the rehab, and no one came outside to help. Somebody from Leisure Village actually stopped. He was probably 22 or 3 years old, if that. He stopped the traffic to help me to get up. So much appreciated for the people that you hire. Thank you.
Good morning. Bill Bishop, 181 Beats. How is that? All right, thank you. Bill Bishop, 181B Sterling Court. Just a question about the trees, those that seem to be damaged by disease or whatever. Is there any update on their condition? Because they seem to be dying, rapidly. The leaves are falling, the branches are dead. And has there been any survey, any study on what's taking place?
So Wes did give a report at the quarterly in regards to a lot of the trees under stress due to the weather and the extreme temperatures. So you're going to experience leaf drop. Plus we're going to be shortly getting into the fall season, so you're going to experience more of that. We do see an increased number of oaks that are showing up each year after the spring. New trees being dying or dead. Right now, we're working with the budget committee to increase the budget for tree maintenance. But no, there hasn't been an organization in here to do a full evaluation of the community. It's something we've talked about. I don't know if we're open to getting monies in the budget to hire someone, but that's a big undertaking, as you can imagine.
Okay, well, I appreciate that explanation. It just seems that so many of the trees are dying. It's across the entire grounds of Leisure Village. The other is just a suggestion. I know that the last item was tabled, but if possibly you could have a list of violations and what the actual fees or fines would be for each of the anticipated violations. So it's just a thing for your consideration. I think the association have a better idea of what type of trouble they might be in if they're not in compliance with whatever the violation is. So, thank you.
We already list those fees online, and they're available at the office. So there's a whole schedule of them.
Very good, thank you.
Any more questions? And please, attend to the agenda today. Okay.
Nancy Piano, I live at 618A Huntington Drive, and just a couple requests. During the winter, there was a little snow. I was at work, and my daughter drives one car. She was home, and anyway, yes, I must have got an email, but I was working. A substitute teacher. I can't be looking at my email, right? So she didn't get a letter, an email. She didn't. I'm not finished, sir. Don't interrupt.
Okay, but it's not on the agenda. What we can talk about in a resolution.
Well, when do I mention this?
Okay.
Anyway, I just think that.
Ma'am, tomorrow we have the neighborhood representatives meeting at 10 o'clock at Buckingham Hall.
I see, this is the whole thing. I find it very disrespectful the way people are treated. Whether it's this or any kind of problem, people are not nice. I'm nice. So let's be nice to each
Wait,
other.
you know, we have questions are only about the resolutions that we have on the table. And we have a time talk, we talk about the lake too, so that's the only questions we have. Any more questions? Thank you. Committee reports.
As I just said, tomorrow at Buckingham Hall at 10 o'clock, we will have our neighborhood representatives meeting. All representatives are welcome, and if people have questions and you're not a representative, you can come to the meeting and ask them to be addressed. Thank you.
Okay, regarding the pools, I'll speak for Buckingham. Buckingham will be open probably to the second week in October, but after Labor Day, the hours will be from 12 to 6, no guests or kids.
And Dorchester, we're going to keep it open the next extra 2 weeks, so it'll be open to the 15th, I believe. And the same rules, no kids, no guests, and it'll be open from 12 to 6. Hopefully the weather will change, because Buckingham is not, Dorchester is not heated, so that water is pretty cold, so. But hopefully it'll warm up this week and we can keep it open. Safety and security will be the second Tuesday in September. This is where you should be asking your questions, so you don't have to wait a quarterly to ask your questions. You ask them at either the neighborhood rep meeting or the safety and security. You ask the questions there, and they'll get answered faster than waiting a whole quarter for just these questions. Vice President report. President's report. All right, so this board's been together for 4 months now, and I believe we've done a lot of stuff. Not everything, but we've done a lot of stuff to try to improve the village. The pools are staying open later. We had a couple of late nights for the pool. There's still problems with some of these people that come to the pool. They smoke, they drink, and it's tough for the monitors to say anything, because they're not police. They shouldn't have to go up and tell people you can't smoke, you can't drink. But we're adults, and the adults in this village should understand there's rules and regulations on that board when you walk in, and they shouldn't be doing this. It's tough. It's tough with the monitor. It's a hard time getting them. First of all, I want to thank the monitors that are helping me out at Dorchester, because I was left with an empty plate there, and now most of the days are filled in. But it's hard to get volunteers when they're under pressure with people coming in, starting trouble, and it's an adult community. I don't know why people have to be like that. So just want to tell you, things are going to get better in this village. We're working for 4 months. Hopefully in the next 4 months we'll have a better thing to talk about. I'm sorry about not asking for questions after the 2 resolutions. Just my mind went blank, but sorry about that. That's my president report. I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Motion to adjourn. From the board. Everybody in favor? Aye.
I said the board meeting, you're at the quarterly meeting.